What's up, tennis fans? CB Picks here. We got two players remaining in the Munich Open. Let's take a look at the semifinals recap and then we'll preview the final. Our first semifinal was Cobolli beating Zverev. And guys, what a performance from Flavio Cobolli. I mean, we got to tip our caps to him. Just incredible stuff. And the announcers even said it. This might have been one of the best matches he's ever played. And I know I talked to you guys about that French Open match where Cobolli did have chances in the second set, but I was surprised at how straightforward it was because I really thought the Cobolli game matched up well against Zverev. And in our breakdown of this match, we did say, there was opportunities for Cobolli if he was going to play consistently aggressive tennis, and that's exactly what he did here. 7 aces, 32 winners, 14 unforced. Zverev with only 10 winners and 11 unforced errors. No aces from Zverev. I mean, you're talking about a guy that generally holds serve pretty easily. He's being challenged on every service game. At the beginning of the first set, it kind of felt like it was going to be a Zverev match. Zverev really pushing Cobolli in that first service game. It felt like maybe he was going to break and we'd see another straightforward first set from Zverev, or maybe Cobolli would have to fight back from being down. But Cobolli just able to get that hold, loosens up a little bit, starts firing a few forehands past Zverev, and I we gotta hand it to Zverev. He did try. He tried a lot of things today. He tried drop shotting and moving Cobolli up to net. So working the up and back movement, that didn't work. We saw Cobolli redrop. We saw Cobolli able to pass it past Zverev. Then we saw Zverev try to come up to net himself. He got passed. Then we saw Zverev try to play a little bit more aggressive on the baseline. Cobolli was just able to get a hold of those balls and hit it past him. There was a lot of trial and error, and Zverev just wasn't able to figure out Cobolli. But honestly, guys, I think that even guys like Sinner and Alcaraz would have had trouble with Fabio Cobolli today. The way that he played, how cleanly he hit the ball, how well he returned, and how well he served. Every time he got into a little bit of a precarious situation, he was able to just get himself out of it with either a big forehand or a big serve. Let's take a look at the Zverev serving numbers because obviously those will tell us a lot about how Zverev played. We've talked about he needs to keep his serving numbers up high against some of these higher level players. Otherwise, he's going to struggle. Zverev, 78% on the first serve. That's a very high percentage. That's very good. He won only 63% of those. And here's the kicker. 30% of second serve points won. I mean, that's really gotta show you how well Cobolli was able to kind of take a little bit of offense off of that second serve of Zverev. And who did we just see do that? Sinner. Very similar to being able to just kind of, and Cobolli also did something similar as well with the return position. Sorry, being able to start up, start back, giving him different looks on the return to serve. And guess what? Now Cobolli's going up against another big server in Ben Shelton. We might see a little bit of that return position as well from him next time. Very disappointing here for Zverev. I mean, I feel like I sound like a broken record. I keep saying, disappointing for Zverev, disappointing. This is the home tournament. And maybe there was a little bit of nerves. He's got to be able to find a way, at the very least, to push this to a third set. We did see nerves from Cobolli at the end. He served for the match at 5-2, gets broken, but breaks Zverev to win. So that's got to be very frustrating when you're looking at this match as a whole. Zverev could have forced Cobolli to serve it out again, and we've seen some nerves from Cobolli. We even saw them in Acapulco. He was able to hold himself together there to get the tournament win, but we'll see how he does in the finals against Shelton because, again, Shelton's a gamer. He's not going to give you a lot of opportunities the way that Zverev did today. A lot of misses, a lot of key misses from Zverev today, and he has to go home. He's going to move on to Madrid. Cobolli moves on to the final. Let's recap the next semi. The second semifinal was Shelton beating Molcan, and This was a straight sets win, 6-3, 6-4. I believe we did call for a straight sets win here, but by no means was it an easy win for Shelton. He had to come up with a lot of really good clay court tennis today to defeat Molcan. I mean, Molcan not really firing on all cylinders. We talked about how we thought the offense of Shelton was going to be the determinative factor here in this match, and it was. We saw the forehand and the serve of Ben Shelton just dominate a lot of these rallies. In the first set, Shelton came out and he immediately went to the drop shot a few times, which I thought was a little bit interesting, challenging the speed of Molcan. But we did see that Molcan maybe was struggling a little bit physically towards the end of his last match. So I think that was kind of smart of Shelton to test the legs out and see what kind of match this was going to be. Molcan got all of them back, and I think he won all of the points off the Shelton drop shot. So Shelton kind of did away with that, then went back to his grinding style there with the lefty spin. We had a lefty on lefty battle here, and Shelton able to just take advantage with his big forehand and his ability to come in to net and just kind of dominate in that fashion. He was really rushing Molcan on a lot of his shots. I mean, towards the end of this match, watching it, I kind of felt that I was like, why has Molcan not been drop shotting a lot? I feel like that would be good to bring Ben in on your terms. And Molcan did that a few times, but I was wondering why he wasn't doing it a lot more. And honestly, the answer to that is because he just was on his back foot for the majority of this match. There just wasn't a lot of room for him to kind of get the ball in front of him and hit a drop shot. Shelton was just roping his balls left and right. So great match, great performance by Ben Shelton. He gets through. We talked about how he had to play good clay court tennis back in the second round of this tournament, that if he was going to advance to the finals again, he was going to have to play good clay court tennis because he was going to play solid clay quarters. And he has played high percentage tennis. I don't know if I want to call it like good clay court tennis just yet. I feel like he's just hitting through the court, and the guys that he's playing haven't been able to find an answer. We had, blocks. That was a very close match in the end, and if that went 3 sets, I think it would have been a little bit different maybe. We had Fonseca, Shelton going back and forth, but we had some tough errors from Fonseca in that third set for Shelton to win. And then today, Molcan, just not enough offense to really bother Ben Shelton, and he was able to dominate most of the rallies with his powerful ground strokes and his big returns and his huge serve. So there was just a lot going on there that Molcan wasn't able to get the kind of play that like clay court style that he's used to. Now he goes up against Cobolli, and let's talk about that finals preview. And here's a look at our finals. We have Cobolli taking on Shelton. And honestly, guys, if you had told me it was going to be these two guys at the end, I would have probably said, no way. But here we are. I didn't think what I saw from Ben Shelton in Houston, I was just not impressed with Taranto able to grind him down, get a lot of the serves back in play, and kind of play some of that savvy clay court tennis. And I figured, before even seeing the draw, that Shelton would run into a guy that would be able to do a similar thing. But he has not, and he's actually played a lot better this tournament, and he's played better competition as well. So Ben Shelton improving every day here on the clay, getting that confidence back to go into Madrid. Cobolli, on the other hand, able to get through Dodura, Bergs, Kopcheva, and Zverev, all in straight sets. He has not dropped a set here. Cobolli's coming in. He's 5-1 on the clay, with the only loss coming to Alexander Blocks. Komasana, he beat in 3 sets in Monte Carlo. Cobolli was 15-6 on the clay last year and 10-9 on the clay the year before. Shelton, on the other hand, coming in at 5-1 on the clay. He was 7-5 last year, 8-4 the year before. Shelton did make the finals of this tournament last year, losing to Zverev. Head-to-head for these guys is 3-2 for Ben Shelton. It was 2 wins for Cobolli in 2024, and last year all matches won by Ben Shelton. Let's go through these matches. They only played once on clay, and that was back in Geneva. It was a 4-6, 7-6, 6-2 win for Cobolli back in 2024. Then in Washington in the DC Open, Cobolli was able to win 4-6, 7-5, 6-3 in the semifinals. Then going into 2025 in Acapulco, the first round, Shelton able to win 7-6, 7-6. Now remember, we talked about Cobolli's big win in Acapulco. He was able to turn that first round loss in Acapulco to a win the next year. So good on him to do that. Then they played in Toronto in 2025, and this was a 6-4, 4-6, 7-6 win for Ben Shelton. Cobolli having chances to win that match as well. I remember that match. That was the one, if you guys don't remember, where they kind of jarred at each other at the end. It was a little bit of a misunderstanding by both of them. I believe Cobolli had said something to his bench, and Shelton thought he was saying it to him. So then they talked a little bit, and I think there was a little bit of a language barrier there between the guys. But it sounds like they should be all good now. Then Shelton was able to beat Cobolli in Paris. That's indoor hard court, 7-6, 6-3. And obviously we would expect the faster the court, the better we're gonna see a result from Ben Shelton, and that's exactly what we have here. Let's hone in a little bit on this clay court match in Geneva and see kind of what the stats are on this one. 47 winners from Cobolli to 46 winners of Ben Shelton. Wow. 9 double faults from Ben. He first serves in at 60%, won 75% of those, only won 35% of his second serves. Cobolli, on the other hand, served 70% of his first serves, won 78% of those, and was at 50% on the second serves. This was Shelton was up a set and a break in this match, and Cobolli was able to wrestle it back against him. You know, guys, for me, I know obviously what we just saw Cobolli against Zverev, but I have to caution everyone, do not let the recency bias take over, because I have a feeling that Shelton's going to win this match. And I feel like everyone is probably piling on Cobolli because of what we just saw. He just owned Zverev at his home tournament, 6-3, 6-3. He was roping forehands left and right. It's really tough. Tennis is a game of matchups, so and Cobolli has to come back and produce the same level of tennis tomorrow. Is he going to be able to do that? We have not seen something like that in Acapulco. We still saw some dips from Cobolli. Even though he was able to win the tournament and his best match was probably against Tiafoe in the finals, we still saw those dips. And today, there were no dips. Do I think he's going to produce another match like that? I just can't. I just can't say. But 2, I just am not led to believe that he's going to bring that same quality out again. Both guys at their best, I feel like I got to give the edge to Cobolli. But if both guys come out and they're playing like A-, B+ games, I got to give the edge to Ben because of the serve, because of his ability to hit that big forehand. Plus, let's not forget that cross court of Ben is going to be going into the Cobolli backhand, which is the weaker side. So Cobolli's going to have to dictate and hold the middle of the court a little bit more over Shelton in order to play his forehand. If Shelton is controlling the court, Cobolli's not going to be able to dictate the way he was today against Zverev. Do I think that Cobolli's going to have, it was such a clean match today. I mean, 14 unforced errors from Cobolli. It just seems like so good from him. Because I feel like normally we see more errors from him. We do see a lot of winners. But I feel like that the winner to error differential is never that large. And today he just played such a clean match and such a solid match. I really like Ben Shelton here to win. Let's take a look at him. I know we don't do this very often, but let me pull up the odds here for this match. Let's take a look. And this actually surprises me a lot, guys. Ben Shelton is the favorite tomorrow. And that surprises me a lot, because like you gotta say Cobolli's probably a clay courter. He's been playing solid clay court tennis this year and last year, but the odds makers are seeing the same thing that I feel like I'm seeing, that this is going to figure its way out to be a Shelton win, and I get it. I know. I know Cobolli was able to have like this amazing semifinal win. And I hope that gives him confidence going into Madrid. But I think this is going to be Ben Shelton's tournament here. He has that experience. He's been in the finals before here. He seems to really be liking this surface. Maybe the way the ball is sitting for him, he's able to strike that forehand and the backhand makes him a little bit more comfortable. Cobolli's going to have to figure a way to get some breaks of serve against Ben here. And we talked about how, earlier on in the tournament, I kind of spoke about how, all you got to do is just like prevent Shelton from that serve +1, return +1, and you'll be fine. And here now, I kind of like the way that Ben has been able to play even without a serve +1. He's grinding some points out and then able to dictate with that forehand. This is a really hard. I think this is going to be a great match, though. Like, don't get me wrong, guys. I mean, we've seen a tough straight set match last time, a 3-setter the time before, a 7-6, 7-6 the time before that, and then 2 3-setters to start their head-to-head. I think this is going to be a 3-setter here, but I gotta go with Shelton. I love Shelton in finals. I wonder what his finals record is. I mean, I know he did have that loss to Zverev, but I'm going to go with Shelton. I think he's going to win this one in 3 sets. Here's a look at our semifinals records. 1-1, not too bad. Hopefully we get that one final win at the end of this tournament. Thanks again for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe. Share your picks in the comments. Share the video. We will have another video out on the Barcelona Open final, and we will have a draw reaction for the Madrid Open. I believe the draw is going to be announced on Monday, so definitely look out for that to keep up on everything tennis. Until then, I'll see you guys in the next video.